reason that says take two guys is I'm the only one who ever gets mentioned. My business partner, Liam, never gets mentioned. So a big round of applause for Liam, because he did it with me, you know? Okay, I'm just going to give you a potted history of how we found business over the years. I mean, okay, take two guys who like beer. Born in Dublin, but I went to college in England and I saw these craft breweries, microbreweries as they were called back then, all with a sense of local identity, community, very, very interesting. So back then, way before we ever did the Porterhouse, we set up a brewery in Blessington called Harty's, and that was back in 1983. I was only 24. We lasted the sum total of 2 years. We made lots of mistakes. I'd just been to university, but I got a quick 2 years of university of life. And you know, it was fascinating. You know, at the time we thought craft beer will take off. That, you know, the pioneers get shot by the Indians and the settlers take the land. One of our big problems is we've always been a little bit too pioneering. So anyway, we did a cask ale back then. Everybody thought it was, you know, really, really strange. But the brewing fraternity were helpful. And that's one thing. I mean, I saw Jerry McGovern there. If I'm going to know, it was a great guy, Tom Halpin. That's the brewing world. The sales world are totally different. So we had our beer lines cut. We had publicans. I remember Desi Hines in O'Donoghue's telling me, well, your sales are dropping. I said, absolutely not, Mr. Hines. I can still see the cheap suit I was wearing, denying it all, of course. He says, of course they are. He says, I've been given 30 free kegs just to get your beer out. And one thing you should always remember, publicans will always take the soup. And I see a couple of them here, and you know, the good ones don't. The good ones don't, but the majority will. So if you're in business, you've got to remember that, because it's very aggressive. So back then, we licked off our wounds, and then we did a bar out in Bray. And in that bar, we bought in a load of bottled beers. Man in a van over to Belgium, pick up a load of bottled beers. You know, we were the first to do, you know, Duvel and Chimay and all of that, the world of beers. You know, the great guy back then, Michael Jackson, the beer writer, very helpful. And, you know, it's all the little things, you know. Staff would always put the good beers down on the bottom shelf. You say, I want it on the top shelf. No, but I want to be able to get that bottle there easily. Well, bend down. I want the interesting beers on the top shelf so they can sell. You've got to get yourself out there, you know. So we did that beer in different beers in our bar in Bray. But then we liked beer so much, started to brew it. So, best place to brew beer after our experiences of trying to get out there with into the hard world. We did it ourselves in our own bar, and that was the Porterhouse in Temple Bar. And I remember at the time we were told this is absolute madness. There was a number of publicans at the opening event. I found out years later that there was a book opened as to how long we could last without a mainstream stout. They gave me anything from 2 days to 6 months. The longest was 6 months, and that was, I say, almost 20 years ago. So, that's the Porterhouse. And so we were now offering 3 stouts. People were saying, how can you offer 3 stouts? Guinness is stout. And it's the mental block in Ireland. People were just, you know, it's like Hoover and vacuum cleaner. And you could see that Ireland was becoming a very uninteresting place beer-wise. So we're just trying to spark people's imagination. Back then, just in order to get some publicity, because we were just a small company, we brought out a lager and we called it Wiser Buddy. You can imagine the reaction. It's before emails. There was a fax machine burning up, or we were getting sued from a company in Anheuser-Busch, obviously, as their solicitor at one stage said to me, I think it's very funny what you've done. My clients don't. Anyway, that progressed, and they made us promise to change the name, and they had the Americans would call it a cease and desist injunction, and you know, we had all sorts of things. We said, okay, we'll change the name. Then eventually the solicitor said to me, do you promise you'll change the name? You'll do everything in your power to change the name. I said, I promise, I give you my word. So then we had a radio campaign to change the name to the beer formerly known as Wiser Buddy. They went mad. Okay, but all of this is just guerrilla marketing, just to get yourself in front of the public. You know, so we had our bar, lots of different beers. We then did a bar in London, still is the biggest single bar in London, so we supply to ourselves, we supply outside the chain as well. We were playing Porter, we won the gold medal back in 1998. Say London is a supreme place. We then moved the brewery out to Ballycoolan. We're moving again soon to Glasnevin. We did a bar up in Glasnevin called Porterhouse North. That's an Art Deco bar. Again, pushing the envelope on different type of beers. And never underestimate how people, I remember we'd opened a bar in Porterhouse North and I saw something really stupid being done. I can't even remember what it is now. Barman turns around and we've always done it that way. I said, we're only open 4 weeks. You know, that we've always, people have stick in a trench and they just want to stay there. It's comfort. So you've just got to get out of that comfort zone. You know? So then we did Porterhouse Central, which was the old Judge Roy Beans. Everybody said to us, why did you guys buy Lily's Bordello? You don't seem like the type of guys who like Lily's Bordello. I said, only one person spotted it. He said, you bought the pub downstairs and you inherited Lily's and you'll have to learn that trade now, won't you? I said, that's entirely it. We did buy the bar downstairs and that's the Porterhouse Central, which has been very good to us. So then we were bottling our beers. We were the first craft brewery to do an IPA. Back when we did the IPA, oh God, we loved it. Well, I did, the brewer did, Liam did. No, we ended up pouring it virtually all the way. Now everybody's talking about IPAs. Oh my God, I mean, it's really funny. People go, what's that strange taste? You're going, hops, they're bloody expensive. They're meant to be in beer. But people just had no knowledge. You know, it was incredible for a beer nation how little Ireland knew. Because we did have a rich heritage of brewing, but it's all been lost. I mean, at the beginning, in the early 1900s, the Mountjoy Brewery exported more beer than Guinness. I mean, they weren't small breweries, they were huge. And it's part of our rich heritage, which I can see now is coming back. I mean, what's brought it back is we lobbied hard a number of years ago, and we got the tax break for craft breweries. And without that tax break, there would be no craft breweries in this country, because it's a great break to just give you that leg up, because a small brewery needs all the help it can get. I mean, I always jokingly say there's 2 types of people go into the world of craft brewing. The 2 extremes are, you've got the hippie with the 3-legged greyhound at one end, and at the other end, you've got some business person who's just read a Nielsen report and knows shag all about beer. At least the hippie has some passion, you know, and will probably do very well, but they'll have to learn business. But in the middle is the person who just loves beer, loves the opportunity. You have to like what you're doing, you know. Anyway, after that, oh yes, I was talking about we were the first to do an IPA. We were also the first to port a stout. We did 11% stout and we put it into Jameson whiskey casks. Came out at 13%, absolutely gorgeous. And every time you put it in front of an Irish person, they go, geez, wouldn't drink 8 pints of that. You're not supposed to. Oh God. You can always take a bet on that reaction every time it's in front of an Irish person, you know? Okay, then in 2011, again, plain porter won the best stout in the world. Which was great to get. 4 years ago we opened a bar in New York, Francis Tavern, and we put a Dingle whiskey bar into there. So, actually I forgot all about this. Yeah, there you are. So, we put a Dingle whiskey bar in there because we were going forward to doing a distillery down in Dingle. And when we first, I thought about this idea 8 or 10 years ago, because you're looking at it logically and you go, Scotland, 160 distilleries. Ireland, essentially 3, all in foreign hands. That's a disgrace on our part. So we were the first, and I choose my words wisely because great John Teeling had Cooley Distillery. We were the first purpose-built distillery for a new whiskey in over 200 years. So at one stage we were the only Irish-owned Irish whiskey company in the world, which is not a credit to us, it's a travesty on the rest of us. You know, we should have more out there. We have a great marketplace from which to jump off, and we need to tell the world, and we can all know what Irish whiskey is doing now. But when I first started this, looking at it logically, and said, well, and in Scotland, 1 in 5 of the working population is involved directly or indirectly in the whiskey industry, and I'm not including doctors and nurses, by the way, and mainly it's around whiskey tourism. My business model was a small distillery called Edredar. 4 people in production, 25 people in the shop selling. And it's a magical little place, absolutely magical. So with that in mind, and bearing in mind whiskey is distilled beer, said it to my business partner Liam, and he's going, yeah, I mean, he immediately presumed we were going to put our distillery out in our brewery in Ballycoolan, which is a very picturesque, not industrial estate near Blanchardstown. You know, whiskey, you always need a backstory. So he presumed we were going to put the stills there. I said, no, we're going to put them down in Dingle. He goes, can we put them any further away than where we live? Which is a valid point, a very valid point. So I said, no. I said, he said, will the flavour taste any different? Well, arguably yes, arguably no. Obviously, Gulf Stream, all of this. But anyway, we put it down in Dingle because it's a magical place. It's a place where there's a population of 1,600 and they get 700,000 visitors. So know that we get to our audience. And Dingle is a quality product and we want to be associated with quality. So it's a perfect marriage. We don't have the money to build a huge visitor centre. Dingle is our visitor centre. If I get a buyer from Germany or Japan over there and I get him around Slayhead, into some of the Dick Mac's, Foxy John's, over to Curran's, a few late pints with Tom McCarthy's, you know, and then in the meantime fit in a couple of the best fish restaurants in the world, you've got him sold. As opposed to coming off the M50 into Ballycoolan Industrial Estate. Not a hope. So that's essentially why we're doing Dingle. We're down there, and it's a beautiful distillery. We put in wooden washbacks, wooden mash tun, which is very inefficient, but it creates a story. We're doing pot still, single malt. We're also doing gin and a vodka, both super premium, and we're finding it very fascinating. The world is a very changing place. You're either going to be in the premium end, or you're going to be in the price-orientated end. Irish people are obsessed with the price of the pint. I mean, I always think, you can't imagine some fella, some Parisian sitting there in some nice bistro having a nice bottle of wine in front of him going, geez, if I went to Lidl, I could have got 12 of those and got hammered. It's you know, we've got to stop talking about price. If you want to drink cheap, drink cheap. If you want to drink premium, drink premium. And that's the way the marketplace is going. Well, hopefully. So we're looking forward to the future of everything we're doing, and we like to think ourselves as always being helpful to other craft breweries and craft distilleries. And yeah, just want to say thank you.